Welcome to the Michael Berry Show podcast. Glad you found us. Tell a friend, won't you? That's how we've grown to be in one of the top podcasts in the land. So thank you for that. And a big thanks to our sponsor and our friend, Jim McInvale, Mattress Mac, Gallery Furniture. Mac gives back. We like the way he does business, and we like his commitment to the community. And we hope that you'll consider, when you're ready for your American-made solid wood furniture, galleryfurniture.com, because Mac gives back.
It's that time. Lock and load. The Michael Berry Show is on the air.
We love our old people, and I like to imagine that our old people are saying, you know what, there ain't nowhere else on the radio we can call up and complain with old people problems. I like to think that. I had somebody email me yesterday with a reference to Paul Berlin. I think she was related to Paul Berlin, and it brought back such a happy memory for me. Remember when we had Paul Berlin in? He had been gone for so long, and I invited him to come in and do the show with me. And he was so happy to get to come back and have one more moment on the air. I mean, he was draining it of every bit of joy. And when the show was over, I walked him out, and he'd parked in the disabled spot, because all old people have a disabled sticker, whether they need it or not. They just do. You could just change the disabled to old people. It's what it is, and you're not going to fight them. If they tell their doctor they want a disabled sticker, the doctor's going to write them the note, and they're going to get it. And I walked him out, and he was as fit as I was, which wasn't saying a lot, but he didn't need a disabled sticker, but he had one. And we walked out, and he's in his disabled spot, and he had a big gold Crown Victoria. A gold Crown Victoria. There's a certain age, a certain era of people that own gold cars, and it was just perfect. He had a perfect head of white hair. He had kind of comb to the side. Very sensible shoes because your feet hurt. And I walked him to his car, and he got in, and he looked up, and with the most earnest, sincere, authentic tone, he said, "Michael, thank you for this. This was really special." And I mean, it was all I could do to keep from a tear dropping. He might have when I walked off. I felt so good. So, Ramon, do you have an intro for our old people complaints? Segment of Scream. It could fit into, you know what? You could shoehorn it into a segment of Scream. Yeah, go ahead.
And now the Michael Berry Show presents the segment of Scream.
Now turn it down, because a lot of ambient noise makes old people uncomfortable. All right. We'll take them in this order. Jamie, Dixie, George, Mark, and Chris. Jamie, you're up. What's your old person complaint?
I'm 68 years old, and I am tired of this ball and chain called the damn cell phone. Everywhere I go, people think it's okay to call me at 7 o'clock on a Saturday evening to talk to me about business, and when they can wait until Monday. Why don't they just let me have my free time?
You know, thank you for the call, but you know what I do? Turn it off. Or block people. When people call me during the show, I just block them. And then they later go, "Hey, I can't get through to you anymore. I know you called during the show. You disrupted me." That phone allows too much access all the time. This is my old person complaint. We have to understand you don't need to be available all the time. People have grown accustomed to this thing. If they call you twice in an hour and you don't call them back, they're ready to call the police and issue a missing person. No, you don't need to be able to reach people at all times. Put that thing away and enjoy your dinner. Put that thing away and enjoy fishing. Put that thing away and enjoy being in the deer stand and breathing in the cold air and eat you a sausage sandwich and drink some hot coffee and enjoy the flavor of it going. Just put that damn thing away. All right, Dixie. That's a good old people name. I like that. Dixie, I'm glad you called. Dixie?
I'm glad I get to talk.
Yes, ma'am.
It irritates the hell out of me when I say thank you for a glass of water at a restaurant or a fresh napkin or a new fork, and they say, no problem.
Oh, yeah. What would you rather them say, Dixie?
You're welcome.
That's old-fashioned. I like that. What is your entire name?
Oh, you want to put it on the radio?
Well, yeah. It's probably going to be a great name. It's going to be like Dixie Charlotte Johnson or something. You don't have to give your last name. What's your first and middle name?
Dixie Lee.
Dixie Lee. How do you spell the Lee?
L-E-E, like Bing
L-E-E.
Crosby's first wife.
Oh, my goodness. You're not his first wife, are you?
No, but I was named after his first wife.
How old are you, Dixie?
I'm 85.
85. Do you have a man in your life? A gentleman caller?
My wonderful little husband died 17 years ago.
Oh, my goodness. You know, Dixie, I've thought about doing a dating service for mature adults, shall we say. Because we have a lot of listeners, I think, that would enjoy some company of somebody else.
I don't believe I want to go into that.
Are you sure?
I am serious. No, last year my last two boyfriends died, and I don't want any more guys dying on me.
Oh my goodness! If you did have a fella around, what would be the first task you would give him to do?
Oh my goodness! Maybe pull my chair.
Oh, okay. All right. That'd be nice. But, I mean, like, is the garage door hung and there's just a little gap? It's got a little triangular wedge gap under there and it won't close all the way? Or is there a door that won't shut all the way, or something that's hung, something that he could fix?
I take care of most everything myself. I was Daddy's first boy.
Oh, I see. Yes. Okay. All right. Dixie Lee. I don't know that there's a more Southern name in the book than Dixie Lee.
Well, if you heard my last name, you'd know I was an oxymoron.
Oh, my goodness. Well, let's don't do that. I don't want anybody to know your full name. Dixie, I'm glad you called. Did you have one other thing you wanted to tell? Because yours was a good one.
Oh, No. I'm tired of aches and pains, but, that's part of what you do, what you get when you get old.
Yeah, it beats. When my dad starts telling me, I'm doing this or I'm doing that, something's wrong, and I just tell him almost every conversation, well, Dad, it beats the alternative. I'm just here. I'm just doing. Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, Dixie, thank you for calling. I appreciate it. Let's go to George, Ramon. George, you're on the Michael Berry Show. Give us your name, your age, and your old person complaint.
Michael Christian, George Mark. You're Norman Lee's boy. I know you are. Your dad worked with my late father-in-law, and I'll give his full name because he's gone. No more care no more. Charles Wyatt Jimmy Gallant. Both them boys worked at DuPont.
Huh. As did every one of my family.
Anyway, my complaint
members.
is. Say what now?
As did every one of my family members. My grandfather Wilbur, my uncle Gene, my aunt Sylvia, my aunt Sandra, my aunt Sheila. No, Sheila did hair. My dad, everybody.
I want to thank you for what you did this morning. You gave me what I needed, and you gave me what I've wanted for years. You gave me you. You gave me Michael Berry bio, and something that's real personal. I really appreciate that.
Well, thank you. Hold right there, George.
Southern Pride, Southern Fried. The Michael Berry Show.
I want to challenge every business owner. If you own a business, use that business to do good. I want you to make money. I want you to be very successful. Of course I do. But use that business to do good for the community, the way Mac does at Gallery Furniture. GalleryFurniture.com. Solid wood, American-made furniture, and Mac uses a lot of the money he makes to give back, to make a difference. Job fairs, helping those in need, teaching people trades. GalleryFurniture.com. Mac Gills back.
must be a kind of blind love. I can't see anyone but you. Shabbat, shabbat. Shabbat, shabbat. Shabbat, shabbat. Shabbat, shabbat. Are the stars out tonight? I don't know if it's cloudy or bright.
I was talking about the fact that I was talking to my dad yesterday, and I'm 50 and he's 81, and we sound like two grumpy old 100-year-old men. We were talking about, so the story went, I said to my dad, I said, I talked to my mom first. So if you're lucky enough that both your parents are alive, there's always one that answers the phone, usually the mom, and then at some point she hands the phone off to the other one. But different families act different way. So I'm talking to her, and I said, what are you doing? And she said, well, I got back from the grocery store, and I'm wore out. And I said, how come? And she said, well, I don't know. I just going to the grocery store wears me out. And I said, well, I don't go to the grocery store because it wears me out and it aggravates me. Because, I'll tell you. You ever go to IKEA? When you go to IKEA, it's been years since I've done this, but if you've been to IKEA, you know what I'm talking about. When you go to IKEA and you first get there, you start walking through, you go, oh man, this place is great. Everything's cheap and it looks real nice. When you're in college or your first house, you buy IKEA furniture. It's junk, it's veneer over particle board, but at the time, that's what you did, right? You're not looking for quality stuff. You grow up, you go to gallery furniture. But when you're young and poor, you go to IKEA. But you start into IKEA, and the first 20 minutes, you go, I get this, I get this. So you don't have any furniture yet. You just have slips. So you walk, you got your slips. You don't remember which slip is which. And you're walking along, and then you go, man, I about got all I need. But you can't get out. It's like a hall of mirrors. A house of mirrors. You can't get out. It's like Freddy Krueger's around every corner, and the music's going. It's like a cross between Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Amityville Horror, Friday 13th. I mean, it's all bundled. You can't get out of there. You cannot. They've designed it so you cannot get out of there. So that by the time you do come down, your feet hurt, your knees hurt, your hips hurt, your shoulder hurts, your head hurts, you're aggravated. And now you got to go find it, and it doesn't look nice because now it's in a box on a shelf, and it's dusty, and you got to go. And by the time you get out of that store, oh, my goodness, you eat those horrible meatballs. You stood in line, and you're so mad. Well, that's how I feel about the grocery store. So my dad said, they move everything around, and, they got it now where they got the stuff on wheels. So you go in there on Monday to get something, and on Wednesday, they've done moved aisle 4 to aisle 8, and 8 to 5, and 5 to 9. You don't know what they're doing. And I'm chiming, yeah. Well, I'm not going to shop there. Me neither. I don't even know where I'm not shopping, but I'm fired up. I'm not shopping at wherever he's not shopping, and I don't even know the store, but I'm determined I'm not shopping there. Anyway, it made me think that there's a value to a good old-fashioned grumpy complaint. And so Ramon didn't have a specialized intro music, so we decided to shoehorn it into the Scream Show, because we do it where you call and scream up about something you're complaining about. So go ahead, Ramon.
And now the Michael Berry Show presents the segment of Scream.
All right, George, you were up. Go ahead and tell your complaint.
Oh, it's those darned IVRs, man. I had one of them charges on my Buc-ee's card. I only use that card for auto expense. And I'm capable of using it someplace else. I don't know the PIN number or anything, but how? I saw this charge back there on the 25th of July for like $89.33 whatever. And I'm going, this ain't right, because I wouldn't have used that in the HEB. And if I'd gone to the pump, there's no cash back there. And I ain't got no vehicle I drive for myself, my private things, that'll hold $89 worth of gasoline. Now, this truck will hold a lot of gas. You put a lot of diesel in this sucker, that's hundreds of dollars. But anyway, so I send a written inquiry to whoever the credit card holder is that logos that stuff for Texas Dow Employment Credit. The TDCU, that's where I got my stuff.
Right.
And I get a voicemail. And I got a copy of the number down. Now, it's about 10 o'clock at night. I got to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, get out the house by 5, drive all the way out from Fields, Texas, back over to Crosby, get in this truck, and do it again 5 days a week. And my wife's been trying to spend some time with me and everything. I sat with her for a few minutes. I had to go out on the porch and do some business. And I got to copy this number down. I'm tired. I want to go to bed. And I call the number. And I go through the IVR, and I got to do all the identification. I got to punch
What's
in my
an IVR?
15-digit credit card number. Interactive voice response, Michael.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. Well, hey, we got that stuff where it works now. We're getting up to Star Trek level, Bubba. They can understand me. They can understand you. It works real good. I understand the principle. Hell, I got off the truck for a year. I didn't want to drive anymore. I went to work for some third-party contractor for AT&T warranty wireless replacement, helping people get their broke cell phones put back in their pockets, And I know what they're doing. I understand that's scripted and all that. But, my God, I did all the account identification on the IVR when I got in there. Hell, they asked for
George,
everything
you
the
are
color
on
of my
to it.
mother's hair.
You are on to it. Thank you for the call. But you know what I don't get is when you call now, and like if you call these hospital systems, you first have to give your information, and then when they come on, they ask you for the information again. So what was the point of the information? Why did I have to do that? And they act like they've never heard it, which, by the way, if you want to know if the doctor's office reads your medical chart that you fill out, how you have to sit down and fill out that medical chart every time? You can make stuff up, like really bad stuff. Like, I got Ebola, it's coming out my eyes. I don't do that. But I make stuff up for what I do for a living, like superhero and former stuntman along with Colt Seavers. I was the unknown stuntman that made Eastwood such a star. And they don't read it because they would have commented if they did. They just go along with it. Mm-hmm. It's true. All right, Ramon, who you got up next? You got Mark. You're on the Michael Berry Show. Go ahead, Mark.
Hey, this is Mark. I'm 70 years old. I don't feel old, but every day I get 5 to 7 calls from Medicare, and I get tired of dealing with them every day. Every day I get someone calling from Medicare just to try to get me to change my Medicare policy, I guess. I don't know what they're wanting, but I don't talk to them.
Do they know who you are? Like, do they have your information?
Well, they know that I'm over, that I'm old, I guess. I don't feel old, but they tell me that I am.
But when they call, do they have your information?
They say they do, but I don't stay on the phone long enough to find out if they really do know me, know my information.
I'll tell you, I've got a program, and I can't find it because I'm not real good with this stuff. But I've got a program that blocks sales calls. It blocks spam. And so it'll say spam risk, right? And let me see if I have it. But let me ask you this. If you got a grandkid that's any good on the computer, you ask that grandkid to install you a call block. There's all sorts of apps on there. And if that number comes from one of these pre-generated systems, it'll show up as spam risk. And you can even make it so that those calls, I get 20 of these things a day, and you can make it where they won't even come into you. That didn't sound very technical, but I'm not real good with that stuff.
This is the Michael Berry Show.
Only you can make all this world seem
flip the order, because if somebody calls in named Dottie, Dottie's got to go first. That's just a good old name right there, Dottie.
I'll just have to listen. Okay?
Dottie?
Yes?
Dottie, you're on the Michael Berry Show.
Yes.
Dear. I'm glad to have you.
Well, I'm glad to be here.
So what's your name, what's your age, and what's your old person complaint?
My name is Dottie. I'm 81 years old. And one thing that just irks the dickens out of me is for somebody to call me Miss Dottie.
Oh.
I'm not a miss. I'm married.
Okay.
And somebody should tell these people that you don't go around calling somebody who has white hair, you don't call them Miss. And
wow.
Michael,
okay.
I have I don't know where that custom started, but I go down to the little grocery store and there's a woman there that calls me Mama. Okay, well, I have 5 children, but she's not one of them. I don't know where that started.
Okay.
And Michael, you have a couple of things that you do that I don't like.
Oh, I knew that was coming. All right, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, you make fun of us old people that have small, what you call yappy dogs. Well,
yes.
I always had standard poodles, but I can't handle big dogs anymore, but I still want my pets. And these little guys are easier for us old people to handle, and if we have to pick them up, we can. And the other thing that you make me crazy about is talking about women must keep their toenails pretty for you men.
Yes.
I can't even find my toes anymore.
Oh, my goodness. Okay. But you could pay
I'm
somebody
lucky
to
to
do
have
that.
toes. Yeah, well, try that too, because they want to do all kinds of things to us old people that don't need our toes all cut up, because if we get them cut, we may never get them to heal again.
Right. Well,
so
that's probably
those are
true.
2 things that you need to stop making fun of us about.
What if I do a qualifier for people under 80 that they need to do that?
Okay. Well, some people can. I have a friend that she can still get down there and paint her toenails herself and clip them. I'd cut the half of my toe off trying to do it.
My grandfather used to say he needed a hacksaw because his had gotten so thick.
Well, mine come off pretty easily, especially in a sock. So, and now that we have to wear compression socks all the time, it's just a mess, Michael. We're just a mess. But I do like my little pets and my cat, and my husband puts up with them. So I can't have my big dogs anymore. They're just too much for me. So when you get older than dirt, it doesn't mean you're miss anybody.
Okay. All right. I'll go for that. Dottie. I almost said Miss Dottie, and I didn't even mean to. But I do that. Is the problem. Let me tell you why I do.
It's not good, Michael.
Let me tell you why I do it. Okay. So we have a guy that is a friend of ours who lives up here in Colorado, and he's our son's mountain biking instructor, because if you're going to try to jump hills, you need to have somebody that knows what they're doing. And he's their snowboard instructor, and he's been their skiing instructor for 10 years. And I don't want them calling him by his first name, which is Howie, because he's 47 years old and they're 14 and 15. But they don't have to call him by his last name, which is Mr. Urquhart, because he's part of the family after all these years. So they call him Mr. Howie. And that's it. That is designed, at least in our account, to kind of say he's older than you, he deserves respect, but he's also, like family, so he gets his first name used. I think that's why they do that, Dottie. I really do.
Well,
and the truth of the matter is,
I worked at a college, Michael, and I retired from there. And I was a secretary to 9 different professors. Not one student ever came in there and said, is Mr. Don here? Or is Miss Linda here? But they called me, the secretary, Miss Dottie. And I had a little tag on my desk that said my last name, so they could have called me that or just say ma'am. But it is not that innocent in some ways. They've been taught to say it, and it becomes insulting to me. I don't like it.
That's very interesting. I'm going to ponder on this. Thank you for the call, Dottie. See, the point of the old people complaints is they may not necessarily be legitimate. They might be quirky or weird, or it just gets me. Y'all might not agree, but so that's the perfect call. Helen, I won't say Miss Helen. Helen?
Yes. Good morning.
Good morning. Your name, your age, and your old person complaint.
Ellen, I'm 75, and I go to a restaurant, and my husband and I always look at each other and kind of grin. The waitress will say, "What are we having today?" And I want to say so bad, "Well, I don't know what you're having, but I'm going to have this." So that's one of our complaints. Michael, I just wanted to throw in really quick. I was born in Orange, and my grandparents, my grandfather worked for the paper mill. They lived past the circle, down that road towards I-10. Can't remember the road. And they lived across from a railroad track. And my mother was born in Orange as well. So, and I have family there. So just wanted to throw that in there.
Give me just a second, and I'll tell you the road.
Okay.
That's how we get into Orange. We don't go in on I-10.
Okay. Yeah.
Near the Old Timers Pavilion.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, it was down from the hospital.
Yes.
That road. Well, I was born in Francis, and that hospital was torn down now, but that's where I was born.
I was born in Orange Memorial, which is what was left there, and then that became Baptist Memorial.
Yeah, well, they lived down. They did live near Baptist down that road.
Okay.
I don't know.
They're not running that hospital anymore. They're just using a few. They don't have the circle anymore either. I'm so aggravated. They shaved off the circular portions of the circle. It's the one thing we had going for us, and they did away with it.
If you can't say something nice, you can always say it on the Michael Berry Show.
Ramon and I are 10 years difference, but he's a child of the 90s, and I'm more a child of the 70s. But we both have the biggest weak spot for the 50s. Some great music from the 50s. I mean, some timeless music. All right, who we got? Let's go to Finesse. Finesse, you're on the Michael Berry Show.
Did you say Finesse?
Finesse, I'm sorry. I knew how to pronounce it. You've been on the show before.
Yes, sir. I am 75, and one of the things that bothers me the most is I'm assuming because somehow they know that I'm 70 or above or a senior citizen, we get at least 3 phone calls trying to buy our house. And if I could afford to move somewhere else, yeah, I would sell it, but I can't afford to move somewhere else. That's one of the things that really bothers me the most. There is something that bothers me when I'm listening, and I do enjoy your show, but it bothers me because I guess I'm older and I can't hear that well, that when your music is too loud, I can't hear you when you're talking very well, so I don't understand you. But may I interject a joke about us old people, men mainly, is men are too old when they don't see any ugly women anymore.
Oh, thank you for the call, my man. He worked the joke in there too, Ramon. You didn't see that one coming. Let's go with Mel. Mel, you're on the Michael Berry Show. How old are you, and what's your old person gripe?
Nell. My name is Nell, and I'm 92 years old. And my complaint is these loud mufflers on these cars that pass me, and they're so loud they scare me to death. And I'm going to have a wreck one day just because they're so loud and they scare me. That's my complaint.
They do it on purpose. They think it's funny.
I wonder why they do it.
Well, they don't have a lot going on in their lives, and it draws attention. It's like getting a tattoo.
Oh, I guess so.
Yeah,
well,
that's why they do it.
Too bad for them.
As my grandmother would say, that's how come them to do it.
Oh, okay. Well, that's my...
Nell, you're 92?
Last month,
Oh, well, happy birthday.
Well, thank you. I never
Did
thought
you do
I'd
anything
live this
special for
long.
your birthday?
Sir?
Did you do anything special for your birthday?
No, just went out to eat.
Oh, where'd you go?
Went to Cheddar's.
Oh, Cheddar's. What did you have at Cheddar's?
Oh, let's see, what did I have? I think I had fried chicken and coleslaw and sweet carrots.
Oh, wow. Now, how do you remember that? Is that what you always get?
Pretty much. Mm-hmm.
Where else do you like to eat?
Oh, just about anything.
Do you have a restaurant that you go to on the regular?
No, go to different ones. Usually after church, there's 4 or 5 of us girls, and I use the term loosely. We go out to eat at different places. I've been wanting to go to the Texas Roadhouse, but I hadn't been able to get there yet.
Okay. Well, Nell, I have to ask you, you said you were talking about the loud mufflers?
Uh-huh.
I think I heard you say, I'm going to wreck one day.
I'm going to have a wreck one day because they scare me when they go by, and I'm afraid I'm going to maybe steer my steering wheel wrong, but it does scare me. It used to be against the law. I remember to have those.
Yeah. Do you drive now?
Yes, sir. I still drive.
Oh, my goodness. What do you drive?
I drive a 2011 Mercury Mariner.
A 2011 Mercury Mariner. I don't even think they make those anymore.
They don't. I think they quit making Mercuries that year. One of the best cars there was.
Mercury. I hadn't heard reference to a Mercury in a while.
They're good cars.
Oh, my goodness. Well, yeah, Mercury. Yeah, absolutely. That's my grandparents had Mercuries.
Really?
Oh, my goodness. Wow. Yeah, you've taken me back in my mind on this one, Nell. So you drive to church, and then afterwards y'all go to eat, 4 or 5 of you?
Uh-huh. We call ourselves the Golden Girls.
Oh, my goodness. After the TV show.
Yeah. We have a lot of fun.
I'll bet you do. Well, that is, well, you've made my day today.
Oh,
now, I'm glad you called.
Good. I've tried several times, and I'm starting to give up. I said, I'm going to try one more time.
Well, Nell, the last caller, Dottie, she didn't like to be Miss Dottie. She had some things she didn't like about the show that she shared. Did you have anything you wanted to share about the show that you don't like?
About your show?
Yes, ma'am.
Just too many commercials.
Well, yeah, no, I understand that. There's not much I can do on that one.
And I always say, if I can't find you on the radio, all I look for is the commercials, and I got you.
Oh, my goodness. Why, are you flipping the channels around?
Sometimes.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. Ramon, who you got next for me? Laura? Laura, you're on the Michael Berry Show. Let me give out the phone number in case somebody wants to call. We're going to do a few more old people gripes. 713-212-5874. 713-212-5874. Laura, what you got, dear?
Yes, my name is Laura. I'm 73, and my complaint is I want to ditto what Dottie had to say about being called Miss. Miss is not my first name, and it's just very aggravating. And people, when I've mentioned that why don't you call me by my first name? Well, Miss is a sign of respect. Well, okay, didn't you respect me before? Excuse me. So it kind of takes them. I just think it's very condescending.
Yeah, that's very interesting, and I don't listen. You interpret how you interpret. I'm not saying that you don't, and maybe it's coming across that way, but I will tell you that I don't feel comfortable calling older folks by their first name. So I've always put Miss or Mr. even if I call them by their first name as a sign of. It was my intention anyway. 713-212-5874. Thanks for listening to the Michael Berry Show podcast. We appreciate it. You're always welcome to send us a message through the website, michaelberryshow.com. And thanks for supporting the folks who support this podcast and keep it free for you. Like our friend and supporter, Mattress Mac, galleryfurniture.com. Solid wood, American-made furniture, and what we love, Mac gives back. Every time we have a cause, every time we need help, every time a veteran needs help, he always steps up. galleryfurniture.com. Mac gives back.